What's going on, guys? Rob A here, and today we're taking a look at Transformers Robots in Disguise Mini-Con Weaponizers. This time it's Strongarm and Mini-Con Sawtooth. So, very similar to what we looked at before. We had Sideswipe and his little his armor that turned into a sword, and then he came with a Mini-Con that he caught with that, and it was okay, but kind of a little bit jumbled and didn't quite work out. This is kind of a new take. So in this case, we've actually got Strongarm, a very cool sort of Cyberverse-ish, like Scout class sized version of Strongarm, which actually looks like maybe one of the more faithful representations of the character, with the exception of her chest not being painted. But that's a totally separate thing. But she does come with the armor pieces as well. They're very light blue, clear, so it might be a little difficult to see. And she comes with this Mini-Con Sawtooth, which we'll check out in a moment. But on the back, you can see that not only does the armor go onto Strongarm and turn into a weapon, but Sawtooth, the Mini-Con, also turns into a weapon that the armor can then be attached to as well. And I think that's a much better use of this kind of technology, or this gimmick, so to speak. So, transforms in 8 steps. You can see, obviously, Strongarm's vehicle mode and all this stuff. So it looks pretty cool. I'm kind of excited to actually get one of these newer versions in hand. So we're going to check it out now and see what it's all about. So I'm going to open it up, and I will see you in just a moment. Okay, guys, so here we have Strongarm and Sawtooth. And as you can see, Strongarm is, little police vehicle here. She's got some paint apps on her lights up on top. And, yeah, I mean, it's a nice little, albeit plain alt mode. But it works, and it could just use a little bit of paint or something like that, and it'll, get spruced right up. They'll probably make repro labels for this set. And if they do, it might even be a worthwhile pickup. I mean, it's a nice little design, and it definitely works well for the character. You can see her head under there. It's a little strange. You can't really transform it without kind of turning her head sort of to the side. Just the way the shoulders kind of transform like that. But, I mean, it's not a problem. It doesn't really get in the way or anything. It's just a little odd. And it rolls. Not amazingly. There's a little bit of resistance here, but it does roll. And here is Sawtooth, the Mini-Con, and he's alright. I mean, there's nothing really amazing going on here. It's a little strange to me and a little disappointing as well. His mouth does not actually open. His mouth is just kind of molded in this way, and it doesn't actually open. But he's got a head kind of very reminiscent of like a coelacanth or something like that. That's what he really reminds me of. He looks like he could be a Pokemon, honestly. Just his little head with his teeth and like fins, little arms sticking out underneath. The arms are pretty cool. They can be rotated around, to kind of get in different positions and things like that. His legs can be moved independently of the body, so you can move them just like that if you so desire. But they're meant to kind of stick just like that. And he transforms very simply by just pulling this little bit behind his, or I guess this would be his tail. It's actually a pretty cool design. I do like all these little sharp pointy bits coming out behind him. And all of his fins and everything actually come to a nice, like, decent point. So they look, they look menacing. And you can, of course, transform him just like that. And he becomes this kind of trident sort of thing. And you can even stick these out to the sides or whatever you want to do. He's got this other little bit here, and this pops out. I don't exactly know what this is meant to be. It looks like it could maybe be a handle, so you could like hold this thing as a gun. But we'll have to look into that a little bit later. We'll get into that. So the armor pieces can actually attach to Sawtooth. And that's pretty cool, so you can take all the little bits and just stick them onto your Mini-Con, like so. Just like that. go. This goes on his tail, or his back fin, I should say. And then this bit plugs in underneath here and just kind of hangs out along the back, just like that. So you can armor up your Mini-Con to, you know, power him up, make him cooler, whatever, and still transform him with that armor on. So you can even have this like a big Energon armored trident of doom thing going on here. So that's pretty cool. So we'll just put him off to the side for the moment, and we'll focus on Strongarm here. So transformation for her is pretty simple. What you want to do is just pull the arms down like so, sides of the vehicle, just like that. Pull these bits out as well, and then you can bring this whole section back just like that. Then these bits actually pop out just like this, and these form her her kind of back flaps like she has. So that's pretty cool. They added that little feature in. Now you just take the legs and rotate them down just like so. Split them, get the feet flipped up just like that. Bring the shoulders down, and those will click into place. And there you have Strongarm. And it's actually a really nice representation of the character. It's super clean, very nice, very nicely done, and it looks pretty good. Now, articulation in this mode is also decent. So you've got a head that can turn, not a whole heck of a lot. It is rather limited just by the shape of the head. But you've got some decent paint apps there. She's got slightly different blue on her eyes than she does on the rest of her body. Again, her chest could use a coat of white paint for sure. And but that looks easy enough to actually add later on by yourself if you wanted to do so. So nothing too terrible there. Her shoulders are ball joints, so you can do those however you want. You can lift her shoulder up due to the transformation, of course. And her arm does swing back and forth, you know, independently of the ball joint shoulder itself, so you can get some nice, decent arm range there. The elbow is a ball joint as well. No waist articulation. She does have ball jointed hips, and her legs get a really nice, deep knee bend. So you can actually get some cool poses out of this, and you can even flip the foot down, you know, due to that transformation. And you can also get, you know, some nice upward foot motion as well. So really nice articulation for a figure of this scale. So I'm very pleased with that. Now, of course, we can also add the armor. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got our Mini-Con here. So let's first transform him into his armored up trident mode. Actually, let's go ahead and transform him into the gun and see if that actually works. So we can kind of, I don't know, put her in a sort of bazooka pose here. Yeah, I guess that kind of works. Sort of, kind of. I mean, it's really awkward. You might be able to actually use it a little bit better on a larger figure using that 5mm port. And maybe all these are to accommodate, you know, different sort of scales of peg holes and things like that. I don't have any Mini-Cons or any Cyberverse or whatever you want to call them, Legion figures hanging around right now. Otherwise, I would kind of check those out. But we can kind of sort of glean from this that maybe this would kind of sort of fit in one of those. I don't know. She does have a little peg hole here for a figure stand, should you desire to do that. Anyway, let's armor this gal up. So we do know she can hold the trident like so. It's rather heavy, so she might have a hard time holding it or standing up while she's holding it. But we can go ahead and remove this armor pieces, these armor pieces. Pop these off. Pop these off. This guy out of here. I might have to transform a little bit just to get these pieces off here. Alright, now we can transform this back into the trident. She can hold it a little bit better now, a little bit more ease. And we can start attaching these pieces as well. So basically take these guys and add her to her legs. Just like so. We're going to knock her wheel off. It is just clipped on there. For better or worse, it is just clipped on, so it does just pop right back on. So I may have to, like, you know, spread those out a little bit more if they're going to pop off with regularity. That is the first time that's happened. And of course I waited until it was on camera, but we're going to add these bits to her arms here. Sawtooth arm blades. That's pretty cool. And of course the chest piece just plugs in right there and covers up her face. And then she has an additional kind of sword blade, which you can, if you want to, just leave attached here onto the end of the trident, or you can stick in her other hand. Whatever, you know, makes you happy. Whatever works for you. And there you have armored up mode Strongarm. And I mean, it's okay. It's not amazing. Like, the armor doesn't add a whole heck of a lot, and I obviously didn't push that in far enough. But it is clear plastic, so I'm a little bit afraid to actually push it in too far, because I'm afraid it'll, you know, weaken over time. I don't want to stress it, you know, leave stress marks and eventually break it. I'm trying to avoid that, so I'm being very gentle with it. But overall, let's pop this out here so we can kind of get a better look at the figure itself. And again, this popped out again. Whoops. Alright, well. Try not to ham hands it like I'm doing, you know, if you can avoid it at all. There we go. Get that in there. But yeah, I mean, it's neat. I would love to see this concept done with other characters. So if we get further waves of this, I know the other member of this wave is kind of a rehash of the Sideswipe figure. And I may pick it up. I don't know. I'm still a bit on the fence about it because it is a figure that I already have. It just comes with new armor and a new Mini-Con. But it might be worthwhile. I do like this figure, but mainly I like the base figure. So I would say this set is worth it. Pretty much just for the base figure alone. So far I feel it's kind of the best representation of Strongarm that we've gotten so far. And it does come with this armor, which is neat. It's not amazing, but it's, you know, it's a cool little gimmick. The Mini-Con is fun, and the best part is you can use him with larger figures, which I think is going to be kind of the biggest draw for me. I'll probably end up using him with my just regular deluxe Robots in Disguise figures. But as for Strongarm here, I really, really do like this little version of her. And, you know, it's a great, like, desktop kind of just messing around with it figure. So for that alone, I'm going to go ahead and recommend it. You know, the armor doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot for me. I think the armor actually looks cooler on the Mini-Con, and I may end up just leaving it on there. And maybe she'll keep the sword or something. But, yeah, so that's going to do it for this review, guys. I want to thank you so very much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It really does help me out. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll have more Transformers coming soon, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.